evening students. Today we will discuss about what are the pending parts as the information I received. That means from aerosol some parts and from pellets. With this I think the introduction part of all of these completed. So only evaluation and quality control part is remaining in the aerosol. So let us discuss about what is the evaluation techniques of this aerosol. So it is various types of evaluation methods are there. Like the first one, the three important parts of the aerosol is container, propellant and valve. So it is, let us discuss about the first one in the evaluation test, that is flammability and combustibility. So flammability and combustibility means, as we know that we are taking flammable substance, methane, ethane, different types of propellants we are taking, chlorofluorocarbons we are taking. So that's why these are flammable substances. So that's why we need to find out the flammability and combustibility of these substances, because we are keeping in the household things. So we need to know what is the flammability of these types of aerosols. So it is, the first one is flash point. That is, flash point means at the point at which the aerosol is ignited. That means it got flame. The point at which, at temperature at which the aerosol will be ignited or will catch the fire or flame. So it is, that point is known as your flame point. And with the next one, flame extension. How much distance the flame is moving. So for that we need to spray the aerosol packing on the open fire, so that we have to measure how much distance the flow is, the fire is moving. The flame is moving how much distance. That is your flame extension. And these are the tests for the flammability and combustibility. So let us discuss about some other evaluation test. Next one is your physiochemical properties. So in these physiochemical properties, like as we know that vapor pressure is important in the aerosol packing, because it will maintain pressure on the surface of the liquefied gas present in the container. So that's why we need to know the vapor pressure. So that can be calculated by using different instruments. Next one, the density. We need to find out the density of the liquid present inside the aerosol container. As we know that it is a mixture of drug or any type of other substance with liquefied gases. So that's why there are different types of techniques there, by using hydrometer, by using different types of other pyrometer, we can find out the density. Then also another physiochemical property, that is your moisture. We need to find out the moisture content. So for that moisture content we need to use Carl Fisher titrator, or we can use different types of chromatography technique like gas chromatography to find out the moistures. Then also we need to measure, we need to identify the propellant, type of propellant we are using, because so many types of propellants are there, and nowadays so many propellants are not eco-friendly, hazardous to environment. So that's why we need to use identify the propellant. So that can be done by different types of spectrophotometers. The next one, performance of the aerosol. So that can be find out performance. Suppose you are using aerosol, how much amount of how much volume of aerosol it is spraying from the container. That is also important. So that's why let us discuss about what are the performance tests we are doing. The first one, aerosol valve discharge rate. The first thing we are finding, aerosol valve discharge rate. Then your spray patterns, how it is spraying. Dosage from metered valves. If you are using a medicinal purpose, we need to get a perfect dose at a particular spray. So that can be calculated by metered dose, meter valves. Then your net contents, what is the total content of the aerosol packing? Because it's a liquefied gas, so we need to find out the actual content of the aerosol packing. Then your foam stability, how much amount of foam it's forming and how much time it is retaining, foam stability. Then your determination of particle size. So for the different types of techniques we are using to determine your particle sizes. With this also we are going for biological test. So in the biological test generally we are going for therapeutic activity. Therapeutic, if it is a medicinal, we are using the aerosol for a medicinal purposes, then we need to find out the therapeutic activity of the substance. So that can be done by using different types of animal models. So therapeutic, then your toxicity also we are finding by using different animal models. The next one, coming to the important part, quality control test of aerosol. So generally, as I told you, different types of three important parts there: container, propellant and valves. So we need to go for test, quality control test of container. So that means we have to find out the container is, that means we are taking test of containers. Test if it is coated, sometimes it's coming in the coated container, sometimes it's coming as uncoated form. So we have to find out any type of defect in the containers. And with this, in the propellant, as per the specification, we have to what type of propellant we are using, what is the suppliers or manufacturers, that we have to find out, and it should be tested which type of propellant we are using, because different types of types of propellants there. Then also we have to find out the test of actuator, valve and dip tube, the three important parts which are need to dispense the aerosol liquid, that is actuator, valve and dip tube, the three important parts that is useful to release the drug or any type of substance. And with this, next test we are going for checking the weight of the container. Weight of the container means the uniformity of the weight. All the containers we are taking should be filled properly and accurately weighed. The test of leakage, there should not be any type of leakage. So that's why we are going for leakage test of the aerosol packing. Then your spray testing. Spray testing means we need to spray how much of the amount it's spraying and how much distance it's going, spray patterns, all these things we are doing in the spray testing methods. So these are all quality control tests. Now coming to stability studies. What are the stability studies we are doing for this aerosol packing? So generally it's important as this aerosol packing can be stored for long days. It's very important, and if slight problem in the stability will make the aerosol ineffective. So that's why we need to find out different stability studies of different substance we are using in the aerosol. That means we are using a drug concentrate and also propellant. So we have to find out individually the stability studies of these propellants. Also we have to find out the container, whether the container is compatible with the drug concentrate or propellant or not. So we have to keep in different temperature. Then we have to find out there is no leaching of the container. There is no leaching of the container during storage. So it is like that we can find out there is no reaction between container and drug or propellant. Then also there is another part, that is valves we are using, and there should not be any type of reaction between valves and drug concentrate or any type of propellant we are using. So that's why different types of tests done to find out they are not they're stable with the different components we are using. So these are the different types of quality control test and evaluation methods what I told. So now, as we are discussing, it's a big topic actually, and only we are discussing about evaluation and quality control test. So it is, and other things I think completed for you, and let us go for the incomplete part in the second unit, that is your pellets, or we are sometimes calling as pellet technology. So it is, what is this pellets and what is this pellet technology and how to get. So generally we are using this pellets for particularly enteric-coated drug particles. Sometimes we are using for control release, sometimes we are using for substance release. So it is not very old, but from few decades we are using this pellets. And if you are using a enteric-coated form, easily it can go from the GIT, it can pass the stomach and it will go to the intestine due to its small in size and spherical shape. So generally, so many types of drugs there also nowadays, it's coming in the form of pellets. But there is some mechanism by which the drug will release from the pellets, because it's coated, completely coated. So there is made up of different types of coating materials, maybe microcrystalline cellulose, or we are using sometimes starch pellets or sugar pellets. So different types of materials we are using to coat the pellets. But there is some mechanisms by which this drug will release from the pellets. The first one is diffusion process. Diffusion means movement of drug from higher concentration to lower concentration. It's a very popular process of drug absorption also. That means we can tell it depends upon concentration gradient. Depends upon concentration gradient, drug will move from higher concentration to lower concentration till the concentration will be equilibrium in both sides. So that process is diffusion. Then also it is following osmosis. Somewhat it is following osmosis technique, dialysis and erosion. So these are the basic four mechanisms by which the drug is releasing from pellets. Let us discuss about what are the requirements, formulation requirements there for this pellets. So it is similar to other formulations, other solid dosage forms we are using, like tablet capsules. What are the ingredients we are using? Same thing we are using in the pellets also. We are using binders. As you know that different types of binders are there: sucrose, starch, gelatin, methyl cellulose, hydroxypropyl cellulose. Disintegrants also using, like sodium alginate, cross carmelose, or we are telling as sodium CMC. And different types of fillers or diluents we are using, lactose, starch, glidants we are using, lubricating we are using. And if it is control release or sustained release, we are using release modifier like your ethyl cellulose, cadnova wax, shellac, and so many types of ingredients we are using. As we know that pellets are spherical in shape, so we are using one step here, process here, that is known as your spheronization. Spheronization means it will make the particles into sphere. Spheronization. So for that we are using spheronization enhancers like microcrystalline cellulose, sodium CMC. These will help for the sphere of the pellets. Also we are using different types of surfactants like sodium lauryl sulfate we are using, polysulfate we are using. So these are the formulation requirement for the pellets. You can explain it easily What is, because already you know that what is binder, what is the disintegrant. Something you can explain. Then next we will discuss about pelletization process. Pelletization process. So generally this pelletization process is of different steps, because simply by granulating we cannot get the spear step. So there are some steps there. I will write the steps. The first one is dry mixing, wet massing, then your extrusion, then your spheronization, then your drying and screening, and finally your coating. Technique. So these are the steps involved in the pelletization process to get the pellets. So what are these? Wet massing. Wet mixing means the first one, dry mixing. Dry mixing means all the ingredients what we are taking, we have to mix it properly. We have to screen it properly. So all should be similar type of particle sizes. Then your wet massing. That means this is like your granulating procedure. Simply we have to add the binders. We have to add binding solution in that. We have to make a dump mass. That is wet massing. You have to prepare a wet mass. Then as your extrusion. Extrusion means technique. It will give you rod shaped particles, not sphere shape. Extrusion technique means will get rod shaped particles which will be later converted to spherical shapes. So that's why for different types of equipments we are using, that is known as extruder. So equipment name is extruder, different types of extruders we are using. Then your next type is spheronization. Spheronization means by using the equipment spheronizer, we are putting all the rod shaped particles what we got from the extruder, and when it will rotate, due to its rotation, will get the rod will be converted to sphere shape. Then to get particular shapes, hardness, we have to dry it. Next step is drying. Then to remove all the fine particles, other things, we are going for screening. The last step is coating. If coating is required, like your entry coating, in this process you cannot coat. So that's why the last step will be coating. So if you need film coating or entry coating, that you can coat. The last step after getting the spherical shape pellets. And with this, now you can understand the steps involved. From this, you can understand two important steps here: extrusion and spheronization. So for the different types of equipments we are using, I will tell you some names of the extruders. We are using screw feed extruder. Also, we are using gravity feed extruder, or we can tell it's your roll feed extruder. And also here we are using piston feed extruder. So these are the different types of equipments we are using. Then we are using For the spheronization, spirometer, spheronizer, we are using spheronizer. So these are the steps involved in the preparation of pellets. You can refer the books also, notes also given to you. So in there clearly mentioned there what are the steps, how the these rod shaped particles will be converted to your spherical shape. Two models given, you can read well. So with this we have completed around 99% of your syllabus. If anything is remained, you can ask me in the later class. We will complete it. Thank you.